Hi, my name is Colin. I'm an instructor, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about a few laps of Laguna Seca here. This is going to be in a stock S2000, and this is going to be going over the student line for new students who have either never been to this track or who have never been to any track. Okay, this is coming out from the pit lane. This is where most students are going to see the track for the first time. When entering the track, always wait for the workers to wave you on. When entering the raceway, check to make sure that there's no traffic behind you. This is vitally important as cars at speed will be doing over 100 miles an hour as they approach you. Remember to stay to the left until you are sure that there's no traffic behind you. Turn 2, which we're going through here, is a single apex, very, very late turn. So you always want to make sure to not try and dual apex it as they will do in most races. The student line, as you'll note going through this video, is actually somewhat different than the race line because it accommodates for all different types of cars instead of a very particular car. Now, by this time we're actually going through turn 4, so we're going to instruct the instruction upwards at turn 5 and then go through a few laps. Turn 5 coming up here, you want to make sure that you're on the far right hand side of the track, get all your braking done in a straight line off of the berm. It's a late apex turn in, you can run over the inside of the berm and it'll bring you all the way out to the outside where you can actually run over the berm out there. Turn 6 coming up through here, again this is a small amount of braking. In this car it's 4th gear. Make sure you run all the way over the berm on the inside, bring the car all the way out, and you can run over that berm on the outside. You'll notice that there's a lot of runoff there. Coming up to turn 7, leave the car in about mid-track. You'll notice the left berm will come up to meet you. And then coming up to turn 8 here, make sure you get all your braking done in a straight line. It's a far 90-degree left, a lot more than you'd think, aimed straight at that tree. Bring it in right, leave about a car's width on the right-hand side, car's width on the right-hand side, and again a car's width on the left-hand side as you come through 9. Coming all the way out to the outside, watching out as there are some sandbags. Turn 10 is a very standard 90-degree right-hand turn while you hit the inside berm, bring it all the way wide onto the outside. Again, turn 11 here to make sure you brake off of the berm, coming all the way into the inside. The inside berm used to be rather horrible before the motorcycle guys came through here, but now it's flat and you can completely run it over. So starting off from the beginning, coming through turn 1, you really don't have to worry about where your line is on turn 1. Just make sure that you are on the far right hand side of the track coming into turn 2. Again, make sure you brake all the way in a straight line, ignore the first apex, leave about a car's width on the outside, bring it all the way into the inside and then all the way out. Drive the car out to the outside of the track because it will get pushed there if you don't do it. Turn 3 is a standard 90-degree right-hand turn. It's a very standard apex through here. If you want to take turn 4 a little bit quicker, you can actually use some of the left berm that we just passed coming onto the inside. Just make sure you drive it all the way to the out. The outside of 4, there is actually a bit of a ditch right there, so make sure that when you go out there, you don't go too far on the outside. I'm going to tuck in behind this Miata here for turn 5. He's got not a bad line, but as you notice, he didn't really use the entire inside of the track, nor did he really use the outside of the track. As my first instructor always said, you paid for the whole track, use the whole track. Turn 6 coming through here, make sure that you run right over that berm on the inside and don't be afraid to use as much of the track as you possibly can on the outside. Coming up the straightaway you see here, just really need to be in the center, no problem. Turn 7 really isn't a turn at all, it's just kind of a setup to turn 8, so you can kind of ignore it. Turn 8 and 8A, it's very much a 90-degree left and a 90-degree right. And again, make sure that you're set up for 9 appropriately. You may want to tap the brakes a little bit just to settle the car. It's kind of a frightening turn, it takes students a little while to get used to. Turn 10, brake in a straight line, run right over the berm on the inside, mid-apex. Bring it all the way wide out to the outside and you completely use that berm. Turn 11, again, make sure you have done all your braking in a straight line. I can't reiterate that enough. You can tell people this a million times and they will still brake around the turn and end up in that sand trap on the outside, and where you definitely, unless you're driving an all-wheel drive vehicle, you will not make it out without the help of a tow truck. So again, let's do this one more time. Coming into turn 2, braking in a straight line. Stay on the outside for the first portion of it till you get about midway through. Tuck in onto the inside. Bring it all the way out to the outside where that Acura we just passed went. Again, turn 3 here, you want to brake in a straight line. Turn in at about the 1. Make sure you run over the inside berm. Bring it all the way to the far left. Here, you just want to let off the gas between 2 and 1. There's no braking for turn 4. It is not needed, so make sure to kind of get used to that. It'll help when you're at higher speeds. Turn 5, where you are here really doesn't matter. It just matters that you are over on the right-hand side as you're coming up to turn 5. Again, this is a late apex, but it's actually faster than you'd think because it's uphill the entire way here, so you really want to get a good velocity up through here. Turn 6 again, this is just a little bit of braking. It's a lot faster than most people think because if you've ever walked up this track, you're still going uphill at a pretty steep incline. Coming up to turn 7, remember middle of the track, the left will come up to meet you, the right will come up to meet you. All your braking done, brake all the way until the end of that berm. Do not turn in too early. You will end up at an off angle, slightly airborne, off in the dirt like in the Gran Turismo. It's a horrible trainer for that corner. Alright, coming up through turn 9 here, you can leave some room on the inside. Do not force the car down onto the inside, it's really not necessary. 10, again, a very standard 90-degree right-hand turn. Just make sure you use it all. It's actually a lot of fun once you get used to it. And turn 11, brake straight, turn, then slowly start applying the gas. This is a great place where a lot of the high horsepower rear-wheel drive vehicles will end up backwards in the dirt because they've added too much gas too early, so there's no reason. It is the most important turn because it leads up to the longest straightaway, but it's one that you have to be very careful about. So again, this has been a few laps of Laguna Seca. My name is Colin Lucas. And if you have any questions, I'm sure we'll put the email address or website somewhere. Thank you.